let's start about talking about addressing innovation and what like these big, large organizations are facing right now and in general, in order to do innovation in general.
Yeah, I mean, my experience has been that it often comes from either a place of getting worried about what's happening within the market, or watching a competitor start to take off, or seeing revenue start to slump. And by that time, it's almost too late, you know? So,
Right.
in many cases, yeah, I think a lot of people have conversations around the concept of innovation. It's actually quite rare to see it take place and the leadership push it forward to the point that you're actually able to generate something in the way of traction and revenue, because it doesn't start on Monday and finish on Friday and everybody's high-fiving themselves saying, hey, job well done.
Yeah.
So yeah, every industry, every company, small, medium, and large, needs to consider this as kind of part of their roadmap and part of the scaling effects that happen within companies. And the goal is ultimately, how do we get further along, either revenue wise, product wise, or just in our future growth as a company.
And what do you think is stopping them from really
Uh,
doing it?
Old systems. I mean, there's so many different things, but for me, it's bureaucracy, which kind of hampers speed. And I'm sure you've experienced that, where the things that might happen in smaller companies or just more agile companies take months to just get approval before they're actually starting to be implemented. I've also found that the skill sets are totally backwards. I've come into a lot of larger companies, and sometimes it's been pharmaceutical, sometimes it's more energy companies, but it's always the same thing, where you have people that are so used to existing processes and systems that have been in place for decades. It's very difficult to kind of break from that and say, look, you need to get something launched within the next 3 to 6 months. What's that going to take? And if they're going through these old systems, forget about it.
Yeah, and I think that the way that they're thinking is very structured because they have so much to lose, so they're keeping what they have all the time. And when you're small and agile, maybe even a startup, like what could you lose? You just can win if you run forward and you trying your things and going from ideas to something which is tangible, testing it out.
Yeah.
And
Well, to that point, and I'm sure you've seen it as well, like there's two kind of sides to that coin. So like I've found that leadership doesn't want to put their name on the line, right? So if I don't get the goal, or if I don't reach kind of the point of, this is what we've said we would do with this amount of money and this period of time, it reflects really poorly on them. That's a huge risk professionally. I think the other side is ultimately, yeah, nobody wants to do an innovation project, because ultimately you don't have that 6 month turnaround of initiatives. It's anywhere from a year to 3 years. And if I'm basing something in the way of bonuses, which is a big deal within corporates, it's kind of what you bank on every quarter and every year. If you're not reaching these measurable goals, then you can't really expect to grab something in the way of a really nice bonus. So I've talked with plenty of people that are running innovation departments, and they're like, yeah, I don't really have the ability to tie all of my goals to something in the way of real growth, because the concern is nobody would take this job knowing that they have to do that. And I think on the other side, what I was describing before was the people that are actually doing the work don't always have the skill sets. So sorry, I
yeah,
wanted to kind of clarify. There's kind of two sides of that, but
yeah.
I don't know. You've had experience with it, or what are your thoughts? Do you think it's kind of all the same, or it has kind of this leadership versus the people doing the work?
I think that the high level leadership are very aware of the fact they need to innovate. And many of the people doing like the operations are into doing things differently and changing. And the middle management is always the ones who gets these bonuses. And if you don't change the incentivation method, they will keep on doing what they're supposed to do, which is keeping the revenues running, right? This is
Yeah.
what they're supposed to do. And if you want to really do something which is innovative and you need to change the processes, you need to do it top down too. It's not enough to tell the people, yeah, have ideas, change what you're doing, change your departments, whatever. It has to come from something which is very structured and not just, words.
Totally agreed. Yeah, well put.